Hi everyone. Okay, today we're going to make a drumstick similar to this one, this style. And what you will need, wooden dowel, you should have some sinew, and you will have a leather needle or glover. You should have a pattern. You should have a piece of leather that has not been cut yet. This one has. Some scissors and a piece of fabric. This is kind of a fluffy style of fabric. This is about 18 inches long by 3.5 inches wide. And you will also need some masking tape and some electrical tape. Okay, so for step one, grab your stick and take out your piece of felt from your kit. And there may be a needle attached on here somewhere. So just take that off and put it to the side. Then take your strip and we're going to basically roll this around on the stick. But I'm just going to secure the edge of mine with some tape. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape right there like that to start this off. And now I think I'm going to have the fabric just a little bit over the top so that some of it can fold inwards to help make a little bit of a rounded edge there. And I'll just start this by taping that. And then I'm just going to roll this on. And when I get to about halfway, I am going to start tapering the roll slightly downwards, just a little bit downwards, so that we will start to get a little bit of a tapered edge at the top, just to make the end a little bit more round when we're doing it. And then what you'll do is take some more tape and just tape it all down. Then you can take another piece and just kind of go this way around the top. A bit like that, just to help round this a little bit. And you can do it one more time. And now it's all taped. Now we will take this tape, and what we'll be doing with this is we will be putting it on so the sticky side is out. So first of all, you can just wrap the base just regularly with the sticky side down, and you can kind of make this tighter, as tight as you to make at the bottom here. Just wrap this tight. And then you want to twist your tape over so that now the sticky side is facing up, and you are going to wrap this whole thing with the sticky side out. Okay, so again, when you get to the top here, you'll just cut it off, but then you want to make this top part sticky too, so then you can just cut a couple of strips and you know, put the strips on so that they go around the top. And maybe another one or two. I think I'm just going to do one. Okay, so I'm just going to cut myself another strip here. And make sure you put the sticky side out and put it on and wrap it around. Okay, so now this is all sticky. And the reason why we want it to be sticky is so that when we cut out our piece of leather, we will be able to wrap it around here and have it stick. So that'll be step 2. Okay, so we're ready for step 2. You should have your cutout and a piece of leather. And what you'll do is take your cutout and cut this shape out. The first thing you want to do is see which is the side that you want to have out. I actually want to have this nicer side out. So I am going to do my tracing on this side so that I don't have to worry about the ink showing. So I'm just going to trace this. Okay, now I'm just going to cut this out. Okay, I'm so sorry. I thought I was recording and it wasn't recording. So now that I've got this stuck on here, I can't show you what I did. So I'm just going to briefly tell you now using the other end of the stick. So what, you know, you're going to have all your stuff wrapped around here, all your sticky tape. You want to position the end of this right here at that little divot right there. Okay, so that when you wrap this around, you will have enough room at the end for it to kind of go over the top. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now, is I wrapped it around and the sticky tape is holding this together, but now I've got a gap at the top, which I will be sewing this. Okay, so for step 3, we are going to begin sewing this on. So find your leather needle that was included in the kit, and I have approximately 115 inches of sinew, and you will need to divide it until it's thin enough that you can thread it through this tiny hole. Okay, and then at the other end, I just want to make sure you have enough that you won't run out partway through sewing. And I may adjust that length at the end if I found out that I took way too much, but I really didn't know how much I needed. And you should probably tie your knot about 4 times just to make sure you've got a really good size knot and it's very secure. Okay, so I'm going to start this process at the top in the back corner here, and I'm going to bring the thread in from the inside so that the knot stays inside, and then you can put any tail that you have at the end of your knot inside here. I'm actually going to go through here a couple times in the same spot just to make sure that this is really tied on there and the knot's going to not come out on me. Okay, so you have 2 options. You can just start sewing this back and forth, and pliers come in handy for pulling through. So if you prefer, before you put this around with the tape, like when you're still at this stage, you can take a pen and mark. That made a big hole. I didn't mean to make it that big. Just start marking all the holes that you want to punch all the way around. Try to make them even. And then you'll take one of these punches and punch yourself holes so that it'll be way easier. Okay, I'm going to continue the demonstration now without pre-punching at all and just strictly sewing the top up and then all the way down. If you want to see how to do the method with sewing the pre-punched top section, I will tack this part of the video at the end of the instruction of doing this one. I will show you how I did the top of this, and then I continued with the sewing on the side. So just you have to go to the very end of the video to continue seeing the pre-punched version. Before you start sewing, you could actually trim this in a little bit so you'll have a more rounded corner instead of having this slightly sticking out. I'm still going to just fold mine over a little bit and sew it down, but it would have been easier if I had just cut that little excess when I started. Now I've been sewing along the top, and the way I've been doing it, I'm sure there's many ways, but if my thread is coming on the outside here, then I'm going on the inside of the piece across from it. And for me, I have trouble hand sewing, so I always need something to push the needle through. So you can use like a hard surface, or I'm just using this ruler. Of course, if you have thimbles, that's great too, but I find they're kind of awkward. So I've got my needle through, and I'm just going back and forth basically. So now the thread is coming out on this side. So now I'm going to go back across to the other side, but in through the inside. And that's just what I've been doing. And now that I'm sort of here at the edge, I think I'm going to start trimming some of this off closer. Like I have all this excess here, so I'm going to be trimming this so that my pieces will be very close together for sewing, and all the way down here. So I've cut it like very close to the edge here, and now the tape is actually holding it, but I've just cut this very close as I can here. So once you finish sewing all the way down to here, when you get down to the bottom down here, you'll take your leftover sinew that you'll have and wrap it all the way around the base like this one. So, all right. And then you can do whatever you want with your stick. And then it has a peelable back, so you can just peel off the backing here and take the bottom of your stick and place it, and then you can just slowly put this on, getting the air bubbles out as you do it, and then just roll it the rest of the way. on. And then you'll wrap your stick that way. So an optional thing that you can do is before you stick your piece onto your prepared base is you can pre-punch yourself some holes along the top here, and then you can sew this inside out. So I've actually got my hole on the wrong side. So whatever's going to be your good side is going to be on the inside, and you're going to sew it. So in this case, I have my hole coming on the outside because I'm going to end up flipping this inside out later, so the hole will be inside. And then I'm just going to sew this up. Before you start sewing, you might want to push through all the holes so you can get all these little bits of extra leather out. And if you don't want to see your stitches once you turn it inside, right side out again, just make sure that for each of these top stitches that you're doing, that you pull them really tightly at the top there, as tight as you can. I'm just doing my stitches across the top on this one. So I'm just going through the back one, straight through to the front one. And then pulling really tightly. And if you need to, you can, when you get to the end, if you have it's slightly uneven, you can just trim it there a little bit. And I think I'm going to actually continue this down just a teeny bit. I'm going to do like maybe 3 or 4 more holes here. Before I turn it around. So that I can pull it really tight and make it more of a curve. Now, unfortunately, my holes were good on that side, but not on this side, so I'm going to have to redo the holes here. And then I want to push out the extra material here. Otherwise, when I turn it around, it's going to have these little things here. Yeah, okay. And again, remember to pull quite tightly so that you can start making it sort of gather a bit. Okay, there. And I'm just going to go through this last hole a few times to make sure that it's going to stay there for me when I turn it inside out. Because I don't want it to loosen up on me. I want it to stay quite tight here. Okay. Okay, and so now this little extra bit, you can cut it shorter if you want, but it's going to be on the inside anyways. Okay, so now we're going to turn this like this. And we will have a slightly better edge than this one where you can see the stitches a little bit more. So it will be more like this one that's a little bit cleaner. Okay, so now you got this, and then you can take your ready to go piece, shove it in here, and because it's sticky, might be a little hard to get it in here, but let's do it. Okay, and then pull it down as much as you can before it gets too stuck on everything. And that's the challenge. That's why it's hard to do it this way. Is you can't sew it up too much or you can't pull it. Okay, so I think that's as much as I can do. And then now I'm going to try to get the rest of this to stick now. So I'm going to push it on this side first and then have the leftover bits come together over here. Okay, and then now you can finish sewing it just with a regular, you have to switch, I'm going to switch my needle because this was a bigger needle, switch back to a Glover and hand stitch this now down to the end. And with all this excess stuff here, you're going to trim it just like we did with the other one, so that you can finish sewing them. And actually you'll probably trim quite a bit of this right here. Before you sew it. So that's an alternate way that you can do the end of the drumstick if you want. Okay, take care everyone.